Okay. It says September 26th, but it's actually the 27th. I think the 26th is optional. So, because today, some people say, oh, happy feast day to St. Cosmas and Damian, but really, officially, it's the 27th. Either way, it's the feast day of St. Cosmas and Damian, whom two saints that I adore. They were twins, they were brothers, and they were physicians. And they were both martyred. And I'm blessed to have first-class relics of them. Very, very blessed. And I have many icons of them, and I have statues of them. And I know a woman who was recovering from surgery. She was dying, they say. And the two saints came into her hospital room. She was a devout Catholic. And they touched her and said, "You will heal, you will heal." And she said to me, they were twins. They were twins. I said, well, that was Cosmas and Damian. You know? So they're very active still. Pray to them. Ask them to help you if you're sick. September 26th, St. Cosmas and Damian, martyrs. So they died in the late third century, okay, A.D. Patron saints of apothecaries, that's a pharmacist, barbers, blind people, chemical industry, druggists, midwives, physicians, pharmacists, surgeons, invoked against blindness, kidney stones, hernias, and pestilence. Okay, the liturgical color is red, but let's read about them. Okay, the judge ordered them to be thrown into a large fire, but the flames leaped away from them and killed many. They were then ordered to be placed on a torture device, but an angel of the Lord protected them. The judge ordered the three to be imprisoned and had Cosmas and Damian crucified and stoned by the people. But the stones flew back at those who threw them, injuring many. Then the judge, filled with madness, made the three brothers stand by the cross and command 4 knights to shoot arrows at Cosmas and Damian. However, the arrows turned back. When the judge saw this, he was utterly baffled, tormented to the point of death, and ordered all 5 brothers to be beheaded together. Excerpt from the Golden Legend, 13th century. Today the Church honors St. Cosmas and Damian, twin brothers, physicians, and martyrs who have been widely venerated in the East and the West. So the Orthodox recognize them as well, of course, since the time of their deaths. Little is known for certain about these saints. What we do know is that they were martyrs, most likely under Roman Emperor Diocletian. He killed a lot of people, this emperor. What has come down to us by way of legend, however, offers an inspiring witness of faith and courage from the early church. Cosmas and Damian might have been born in Cyrrhus, modern-day Syria, and later moved to the Gulf of Iskenderun in Cilicia, modern-day Turkey, in the mid to late 3rd century. They were twins, sons of a Christian mother and possibly a Christian father, who raised them in the faith. They were educated in the science of healing and became physicians. At that time, physicians were often paid based on their reputations. Those who were highly skilled and successful often catered to the wealthy, receiving regular salaries from them. Excuse me. Others charged for services on a case-by-case basis. Because Cosmas and Damian were Christians, legend holds that they decided to evangelize the largely pagan community in which they lived by doing something extraordinary. They offered their healing services for free. This charitable work earned them the title, and this must be Greek, Anargyroi, meaning without silver. Anar, I know means silver. Their counterculture practice excuse me, caught the attention of their fellow citizens and drew many to the faith. Legends hold that they were excellent physicians who healed many, perhaps more through their prayers than by their science. One legend states that they were first to transplant a leg to an amputee, which is often depicted in art. There's many pictures of them changing this guy's leg. What happened was the guy was white, and they took the leg of a black man who had died, and they put it on him. That's what you'll see, pictures of that. In 284, Diocletian became the Roman emperor and embarked on many reforms within the empire. In 303 A.D., he began to issue a series of edicts that led to an empire-wide persecution and death of many Christians. Prior to that, persecutions were more localized and random. Around the year 287, or 303, records are conflicting, the Roman prefect Lysias of Cilicia arrested the twins, Cosmas and Damian. Christians of prominence were often the first to be targeted. As was the custom, the brothers were given the opportunity to publicly renounce their faith and honor the Roman gods to save their lives. They refused and were sentenced to death. Various legends surrounding their deaths state that they were first tortured in an attempt to get them to comply with the prefect's wishes. However, they were miraculously preserved from suffering, sustaining no injuries. Multiple attempts were then made to kill them by drowning, fire, arrows, and stoning, but each attempt failed. Finally, Cosmas and Damian, along with 3 of their brothers, were beheaded. Must be brothers in Christ, Christians, because they were twins. But it could have been their physical brothers. I don't know, but probably their Christian brothers. It is believed that Cosmas and Damian were buried in the city of Cyrrhus, their possible birthplace. From that time on, they have been widely venerated. Many miraculous healings have been attributed to their intercession. And like I said, I know a woman who saw them in a vision while she was dying in a hospital, and she recovered. Within a century of their martyrdom, churches were built in their honor in Jerusalem, Egypt, and Mesopotamia. And I've seen one, in Rome. In the 6th century, Roman Emperor Justinian I honored these saints by restoring the city of their burial. Shortly after, the emperor received a miraculous cure through their intercession. In gratitude, he brought their relics to Constantinople, where he built a church in their honor. That became a popular pilgrimage site. In that church, a custom began where the faithful would remain all night at their tomb in prayer, seeking miraculous cures to their ailments. Many miracles have been reported over the centuries. Also, in the 6th century, Pope Symmachus inserted the names of Cosmas and Damian into the Roman canon, the Eucharistic prayer. And Pope Felix IV repurposed a 4th century pagan temple in Rome within the Forum of Peace, renaming it the Basilica Santi Cosma e Damiano. Though it has gone through many renovations, the 5th century mosaics depicting their story are among the most revered pieces of sacred art in Rome. Though we will never know the exact historical details of the lives and martyrdoms of saints Cosmas and Damian until we reach the glories of heaven, the virtues they enshrine shall be a source of inspiration and encouragement. Their work of evangelization through free and selfless service in the name of Christ is worthy of imitation. Their heroic martyrdom presents us with virtues of courage and fidelity to Christ. Their miraculous intercession for those who have been ill should invite us to rely upon their intercession for the sick today. Saint Cosmas and Damian, you were touched by Christ and sought to share your faith in him through your selfless and free service to all who needed your medical care. When persecuted, you remained strong in your faith, preferring death over sin. Please pray for me, that I will follow your example of selfless service to others and will have the courage to be a witness to Christ no matter the cost. I also entrust to you this day all who are ill and in need of your prayers. St. Cosmas and Damian, pray for me. Jesus, I trust in you. And I have to say, they are wonderful saints. Just last week, I was blessed with a statue of both of them, made in Italy. It's just beautiful. I'm so glad I have it, and I've always loved them. I don't have it I have a little picture of them out, but I used to have a big icon of them. I have it. I just put it away. I used to have it on the wall, but I'm going to have to put that back. But I have the statues now. But they're wonderful saints, and the martyrs are very powerful, and they shouldn't be neglected. Okay, they are alive, just like you're alive. And they intercede for us. When you pray to them, they intercede for us. They go to God and they say, please help this person. Now we may be sinners and, not deserving of this healing, but, through their merits, because they deserve, whatever they ask, because they gave the ultimate, they gave the ultimate for God. God listens through them. So I urge you to do that if you're sick or you have a sick loved one. So the 27th is as far as I know, the official feast. Also, they are mentioned in the Latin Mass, which is just wonderful. I love when I hear them. When I read it, I just love hearing it, and also other saints as well. Perpetua, Agatha. If you go to the Latin Mass, you'd know. And it's so important to mention their names. One thing I don't care for in the Novus Ordo is they don't mention the martyrs. The martyrs connect us to the faith because they gave the ultimate for the faith. Jesus bought us for a price, and the martyrs, also paid a price. So, anyway, think about Cosmas and Damian, and I ask you to pray to them for intercession, and don't neglect them. Pray to them all the time. If you're sick, they'll help you. And like I said, we have their relics, so we know that they existed, and they're wonderful, powerful saints. Anyway, happy feast day, Cosmos and Damian. Take care.